Hello, folks. Welcome to another episode of Young Justice Review. Ursan
Yes,
here
Todd.
with Rich. Rich, what's going on, man?
Nothing much. Just excited to explain this episode.
Yeah, man. This episode, welcome to Happy Harbor.
Open there at the docks.
It's a dock, okay.
They're
So we
doing a
open at a
shipment.
dock, and it's welcome to a harbor.
We meet. We see for the first time Brick.
That's right. He looked a little funky.
Yes, he is. For those of you who don't know, he's a villain in the comics that tangles Green Arrow and I think other characters. Like almost pretty much invulnerable.
They were trying to unload some items.
That's a nice way to put it. Stealing.
Yep.
I guess we can say unload.
We get the team kind of coming back to
Well, first we
investigate.
see Yeah, no. Well, first we see Roy is investigating, aka Speedy. The
Right.
team, well, three of the members of the team come to help him. And what's great about the scene is it really has no impact. It has some impact on the rest of the episode, but it doesn't have like a big impact. Like the episode's not about Roy or anything like that. It's like this whole scene is like foreshadowing for future episodes.
Right. Because as they try to fight
Work as a
together
team.
to get rid of the opponent, to get rid of that guy. What's his name? Or Brick.
Brick. Yes.
They're trying to pitch Roy, Speedy, on coming to the cave, coming to their new headquarters, if you will.
Well,
And
coming to their team, joining their team, yeah.
yeah, join the team, come with us. The cave is cool. The headquarters is great. It's got everything that you need.
More importantly, the team is everything you need, and they can't do it without him. Blah blah blah. And Roy's not having it. Roy's like, no, like, what the? I mean, he doesn't say it in the episode, but from what he says about he's sick of the league and Arrow and Green Arrow like pushing him around, he's pretty much calling them like bitches.
Okay. He doesn't want their invite. Plain and simple, Which I don't know if you can understand it. Being that he was perturbed with what they did, that sort of show at the Hall of Justice, he really, really just wants to be a solo guy, it seems.
Well, not only that, he wants to be seen as a real hero. He thinks that the league just gave them those headquarters and let them join as a team, like to placate them. And he's like, nah, forget that. I'll do my own thing. Just as capable as Green Arrow or Batman or any of the other heroes.
Yeah, he really seems like he wants to kind of get things moving as opposed to trying to push this team forward.
Yeah, he wants to get going, so he wants to be a real hero. He doesn't want to just be a sidekick.
I think he's moving a little too fast, in my opinion, but that seems to be what he wants to do.
Well, I mean, you don't know how long he's felt this way.
I don't know, not personally. I haven't asked him. But if he wants to tell me, I'll be open to hearing about it,
Yeah, definitely.
So he basically tells them, hard pass. I want nothing to do with any of this. I'm gone. Basically, please don't bother me and stop pitching this idea to me because I'm not going to do it. But I like the opening scene to this because it teases you a little bit as to the type of team that they could be, even though I think Roy's investigating this. Was he investigating this on his own and they just so happen to be at the same place?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Interesting, yeah. So a little tease. The show gives you a little bit of tease of how the team up could have looked like, but only for an opening. And then Roy quickly gives the
Keep that shit away from me.
What's cool is now we are welcome to Happy Harbor, which is cool because that's also the name of the episode. I don't know if this is the first introduction to their headquarters. It's not, but the first time I think they're entering in when we hear the name of their like number and their superhero name. Is that true, or did we get that in one of the previous episodes?
No, all we got was in the first episode for the heroes.
Okay.
Like the adults.
So we get an introduction to their headquarters, and I think we're kind of beginning to get immersed in their lives as they seem to have somewhat established themselves as a unit, I guess.
Sort of. I mean, they haven't done any missions or anything. They're eager, but no one's giving them really the time of day, which causes them to think back what Roy said in the beginning, and they start feeling like, for lack of a better word, sidekicks.
Yeah, Well, they're billed as a covert group. That's what Batman is looking for. Help when they're kind of needed. I'm surprised that they aren't kind of going out themselves and maybe checking the smaller crimes that are happening within the city or miles out. But they seem to be more interested in getting somewhat bigger covert missions.
I think that's the point. Like they don't want to just do those little missions. They want to actually prove themselves. So shows a coming of age story.
They are trying to outgrow, even though they're called Young Justice. Not officially yet, but even though they are young, they still want to be a team and they still want to go out and fight. But we'll see in this episode that it does take time to understand each other. And even if you have individual powers, they have to work well within a team unit.
I mean, I don't think that teamwork really is the issue. They worked together in the last episode.
They did.
Last episodes. I think it's more sort of being a team. Not that they know their abilities and skills can work together, but it's more than that to being a team. Doing stuff. I think it's also them again, like I said, wanting to prove themselves.
Right.
And be taken seriously. I mean, what Rory said to them really bothered them.
I guess so. I guess it would, because in theory, these guys would have had to have worked together somehow, some way, or they're all sidekicks of superheroes who have come together, so they're exposed to one another.
Well, 3, maybe 4 if you count McGann. I don't know if she actually worked with Martian Manhunter.
Yeah,
But
that's yet to be revealed.
Boy definitely doesn't work with Superman.
That's true. But what I like about this episode is we're introduced to McGann's superpowers. She has the ability to talk to people, open up a psychic channel with other people, and says that where she's from, people talk to
Psychic
each
link.
other with their minds.
Yep. Psychic link.
She can also levitate things, and she's making cookies and they're burning. But they also, Superboy says, I smell something burning. So it's establishing that he has super smell, and that McGann, when she runs into the kitchen, her cookies are burned. She can float, levitate stuff. So I'm excited to see what else they do with that.
Also, another thing, we find out that what she can't do, she can't. What's the word? She can't change the density of her body.
You're right. She can't go through walls. She can't go through things, it seems.
Yeah, that's like. I mean, I guess mind reading is like just talking to them on Mars.
Yeah, you're looking for development. So at some point, I'm wondering if the show will pay that off to where she can start doing that. Body density shifting, I think, is what it's called.
Yes, I think you are correct.
But what's nice is we do get introduced to also the bioship. So we do get an introduction to the bioship, another character in the show.
Batmobile has nothing on it.
You're right, because oh boy, you can get your seatbelts strapped to you by the ship. The ship can camouflage, which I thought was pretty cool. It does need I don't know if you call it a host, but it needs a sort of a captain, someone in the ship.
Someone to steer it.
We also get the shape-shifting abilities of McGann as well.
Well, we find out she can't shapeshift fully into a different gender. Well, male since she's a female, but you know.
What I liked about the introduction to the bioship is that they're told by Red Tornado, why don't you use the space that you have and become familiar with it? But McGann introduces them to the bioship, they go and fly out and go on a little bit of a joyride, or just for fun, and the writers, the show is introducing you to that ship so this way you see what it does. Red Tornado comes onto the screen and says something's happening at the power plant, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, they go check it out.
They go check it out, and there's a whole bunch of tornadoes.
If you will.
There's tornadoes. No one knows what's going on. At first, I thought it was actually Red Tornado, because, and even Aqualad says it, are tornadoes in the New England area. So it tells us that Happy Harbor is located in New England.
Yes, it is.
So then we're introduced to the character of Mr. Twister. Rich, what are your feelings about Mr. Twister overall in this episode?
He just seems like a better version of Red Tornado, more powerful.
Yeah, a pimped out version.
Although I mean, I really don't know what Red Tornado's capable of,
Yeah,
because we
no,
really
not
haven't
yet.
seen him do anything. But Mr. Twister at least seems like he was created after him. That's a little more high tech, I think, than Red Tornado.
And he wallops everybody. Superboy gets
Yeah.
it. McGann gets it. Aqualad gets it. They all suffer the fate, I guess, if you will, of Mr. Twister.
Twisting them around. Episode we also, which I think might turn into like a catchphrase or something. We keep hearing Megan hit herself, like she slaps herself in the head and says, "Hello, Megan."
She does. She
Which is
does. In this episode, we're introduced to Hello, Megan.
yeah. Also, I want besides her powers, we didn't really see a lot of her in the last episode since it was towards the end, but we actually see her personality
We
in
do see her
this.
personality. She's a little bubbly, warm, and trying to fit
That's
in,
what.
it seems.
Yes.
And that shows when she can't read Mr. Twister's mind and she says he's a robot, but then tells the team it might be Red Tornado, which I thought too when I was watching the episode. I said, oh, it's just Red Tornado giving the kids a bunch of, like a mission to help build team camaraderie, to help build them as a unit, stuff like that.
I thought that up until they said it because I figured when she said it, how why would they reveal that so early in the episode?
So they get upset at her and they tell her, you're a rookie. And they kind of just want to go and do their way as opposed to trying to, I guess, like all of them kind of incorporate whatever the best potential option could be. They just let her know, listen, we'll just do
Get the
this
fuck
thing our
out
way.
on Earth as common as it is on Mars.
Right.
So she learns a little. I guess you could say she learns a little humility. Is that the right word?
Okay.
Or not humility. That's fine. That's the right word. She learns a new custom.
Sure. Yeah. Because now she's on a foreign planet in this case, trying to understand. But also, the writers are, and the show is introducing you to that ability, which at the end of this episode kind of comes into play in her favor. But you introduce the thing, and they give you a sort of negative connotation, maybe to throw you off. Maybe that's how the writing worked. Something negative then turns into a positive. So there's an uplifting message in this episode if you look at it like that.
Yes.
So the team kind of realizes that Mr. Twister is not Red Tornado because he didn't let in. He's looking for stronger opponents and he attacked them with great vengeance and furious anger and blew them away, but also a little bit of lightning in there. And then he goes to another port town or something along those lines and he's messing that area up just so he could get a stronger opponent to fight.
Yes. We don't really know his main objective though.
Don't know. Don't know his purpose. He's just a tornado dude that looks kind of like he's been souped up. Maybe Red
He
Tornado's
look.
brother or something.
He looks like yeah. I was gonna say. Looks like Red Tornado's punk ass little brother.
I thought it was gonna be a cousin or something. I thought Red Tornado was gonna come out and said, "This is my robot cousin, also created," and that this was like a drill, a simulation. But that wasn't the case.
No, the writers are very good at like even the scene earlier with Roy. They're very good at leaving like breadcrumbs for future
They
plot lines.
do. They do. Yeah. Yeah. If you really pay attention to certain things, they'll show you. So,
Yes,
so the team minus McGann are trying to fight Mr. Twister, and then McGann talks to Red Tornado, and he tells her it's interesting that he has Mr. Twister has the ability of tornado, but also his immunity to uh for telepathy. So McGann couldn't read his mind. And Red Tornado kind of brings it up in a very robotic, human type of way, even though he's just a straight robot. I think he's adapting, kind of like how Data in Star Trek The Next Generation is. You could see him kind of leave little quips to help them without necessarily human touch, but I think with the robotic understanding of how a human could potentially do it. And
Sure.
that's when it hits McGann. And she reestablishes that psychic link. Instead of being timid about it, she's forthright and saying, guys, you need to trust me and you need to listen to me because basically she's figured out what Mr. Twister is. And it's pretty cool. This is probably the first scene where this group has come together and are using their individual powers to fight together. And this is great because the team is now using their individual powers together to fight as a unit. And it's almost like a highlight, if you will, their powers and fighting Mr. Twister. What'd you kind of think of their last fight with Mr. Twister?
Bumping heads, they didn't know what was going on and stuff like that. We also got a good scene where Dick pulls out his, sorry, Robin pulls out his utility belt, and Wally's like, "You bring the thing with you." He's like, "Never go without it."
That's right, Batman taught him.
Yeah, so you can see his preparedness. That's another skill.
You're right. Yeah, you bring up a pretty good point because even though he doesn't have superpowers, he's still has his abilities.
It goes with the old, that old saying: "Hope for the best, pray for the worst." I
Yeah,
mean, prepare for the worst.
but praying for the best. Those are also Lil Wayne lyrics too. So
Oh,
the
also, Dick wears sunglasses throughout the episode, and they make a mention of that.
he does wear sunglasses throughout the entire episode. I did
The
notice
fact
that
that,
too.
well, they pointed that out. Wally makes fun of that actually
Right.
in one scene. Oh, we also get introduced to Wally's teenage hormones.
We do. We do. He eats the cookie.
Well, that's his metabolism. I'm talking about his hitting on Megan.
Yeah, when he eats the cookie that's burnt, it's showing her that even though they're burnt, he's still willing to try because he likes her.
Or he just has a fast metabolism. He sees something. We see that he likes her by constantly hitting on her.
Oh yeah, totally, totally. And he doesn't care. He doesn't. It doesn't matter to him.
Hey, it's no shame. He's a flirt. He's a redhead.
Right.
They don't have souls.
So after they fight and defeat Mr. Twister, come to find out it's a dude in a machine.
He's not just a dude in a machine. He's a machine in a machine.
That's right. He's a machine in a machine. And we get introduced to Wally getting a souvenir. What winds up happening in this for this, we find out that Mr. Twister has a dude inside working the machine. Then McGann throws the rock down on him.
It's a good fake out by the artist.
It was a good fake out by the writers. I liked it. I liked it. Because then McGann says, "Oh, I couldn't read his mind because he's a machine." So she breaks the rock on him. Wally gets a souvenir, and we find out that it's a machine.
Now, how embarrassed would she be if the guy had some kind of like special helmet on? He's really a real person, but he has some kind of
Oh man,
special helmet blocked in telepathy.
she'd be on a fast track with that bio ship right to where she's from. And then we're introduced to this scientist dude, who seems to be the person behind this
Red
Mr.
Tornado
Twister.
and Red Tornado.
Yeah, and I think also Amazo in Justice League.
I believe so. Yeah, I believe that's Tio Moro. As a spoil anything.
Okay, because I'm rewatching Justice League on my own. A lot of the characters from that show, I'm assuming, are gonna wind up leaking over because this guy's in here and he's in Justice League. So I look forward to seeing who shows up because I think they would be rehashing some things to give Young Justice some threats.
And one's focusing on the big team, the other one's focusing on the kids, the teens.
Right. So they get their first win as a cohesive unit. And overall, I like the fact that Superboy's working on his himself, even though he's probably less than 20, 24 weeks old, a petri dish baby, a test tube
Yes.
baby. And we find out that McGann and Superboy live in their headquarters, and Wally and Robin and Calder don't at the moment, it seems.
They live with their families and
So
friends,
so
or
we're
team
getting
members.
them together, which I thought is pretty cool. Them developing themselves, and some time passes by. Also, if you realize at the beginning, it gives you the date, so you can tell how much time is passing by. Overall, I thought it was a good episode.
Yeah, me too. I mean, it's a little slow at times, but it was still a really good episode.
I like this episode a lot because it really settled me in, and it's now I'm getting to see Young Justice, the show. Whereas the first two episodes are kind of like, okay, we gotta get this thing going. Now it's kind of settling into its lane and giving us things to look for the immediate future and the long term future.
Well, yeah, of course, definitely.
Overall, what'd you think about this episode?
I really liked it. I don't say it was one of my favorites, but I really did like it. I give it like a 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I'll do 8. What are you looking for, I guess, or anything now that we're 3 episodes in? Any story that you're the most interested at this moment?
I'm kind of interested to see what's going to happen to Roy. Like that's they kind of just done that scene in the beginning as like a little sneak or like a random thing rather. They're definitely planning something with him, and it's interesting. What's interesting about this show is if this was like a regular live action teen drama, you would be so bored to tears with them dealing with their personal life.
You would be.
Like you invest in the characters. Like I want to see if Megan and Superboy are gonna hook up.
Okay. I guess what I'm looking for is to see who's an established leader. I'm looking to see when they fight their first foe that they officially can't beat and have to go back to the drawing board. I also kind of want to see how Red Tornado is as a den mother. I'm really looking forward to see how Superboy
Gross.
whelms himself. Yeah, yeah, grows, but I wanted to use a word that the show uses. So I want to see him whelmed.
Want to see him whelmed and how he's gonna adapt with humans or whatever emotions or anything.
We got some interesting stuff. We still have the light. Now we have a new doctor. We have the team starting to come together. The genomorphs are still there somewhere. A lot of things that the show is presenting in 3 episodes. I don't know about you, Rich, but I'm looking forward to watching more.
Same here, brother man. Same here.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching episode 3. Coming up next, episode 4.